What are some harmless ways to fuck with people? My dad used to have this game with a friend. They embarrassed me endlessly when I was a teen. Basically, when they were walking in the street, whenever they were passing someone, they would say things like, "Remember when you pushed your mother-in-law down the stairs?" Or I mean, it wasn't that much drug, usually I carry way more than that. Or where did you hide the knife after stabbing him? You get the idea, anything absolutely awful, as if they were having an entire conversation about drugs, murder, whatever. My dad and his friend had the whole hippie look as well, so innocent passers-by would quickly cross the street. There was a story on Reddit a while back where a guy was refilling his wife's ketchup bottle so that it was constantly almost empty. 4 months, years? She would use the same bottle and he waited for the day she noticed that it never emptied. She bounced the bottle off his head when he revealed his game. I mispronounce famous people's names constantly, then say it correctly randomly so they never know what to expect. Billy Eliash, John Legends, Jason Ackles. If you ever have a moment with their computer or cell phone, use their search engine to look for a bunch of nonsense products and then erase the search history. The algorithm will think they have an interest in said products and put a bunch of ads recommending them for the next few days. Buy a set of voice-activated or motion-activated stickers from Amazon, and the possibilities are endless. I'm a huge fan of just handing somebody something without any explanation and walking away. I saw someone on Facebook comment on a picture that the 3 of you look great. There were 4 people in the picture. Oh man, do I have a story. In my freshman year of college, my roommate was a very neat and orderly person. He had every pencil in place, every paper had a folder, and his things got neatly packed away. We were pretty amicable towards one another, even with my messy living. At first, when he would leave for classes, I would admire how tidy his desk was, and thought to myself I should fuck with that. For the whole year we lived together I would sneak used staples everywhere on his stuff. Homework folder. Staple. Pencil case? Staple. Backpack? Staple. Shower caddy? You bet that pube-infested bar of soap got a staple on it. Hell, even the TV remote got a staple in it between the batteries, so when they died he would eventually find another. I did it often, but was careful to space the staple events far enough apart to not raise suspicion on myself. I further protected myself by making a huge deal of having to borrow the across-the-hall neighbor's stapler whenever I needed to bind papers together. About March of our second semester he had become insanely suspicious of anybody with a stapler and watched them like a hawk. The straw that broke the camel's back, I had asked him one night what his plans were under the guise of having a companion over for a visit. He said after dinner he had to go check out some obscure book at the library. When he left and headed to the dining hall, I snuck off to the library, found the obscure book he needed, and clicked a staple into it. He gets back to the dorm room and I'm doing homework in the same spot when he had left an hour earlier, claiming the meetup didn't end up happening. He sits down at his desk and opens up his newly rented book, and I hear that staple fall out onto his desk. All I hear after that is, "Yo, where the fuck all these goddamn staples coming from?" I revealed myself after graduation when I mailed him a birthday card with a used staple in it. Thankfully he got the biggest kick out of the card and we still talk daily. When driving I like to wave at random people, as if I knew them. Hilarious to see instant confusion on their faces. I put a tiny piece of masking tape over my co-worker's mouse laser on April Fool's Day one year, wrote April Fool's on it. He troubleshot every single thing except examining the mouse. He eventually called IT, who simply turned the mouse over and pointed it out to him. I mess with colleagues during meetings by controlling how they sit. You copy everything they do to start, they lean back, you lean back, etc. Then, slowly, take the lead. If they are sitting back, sit forwards. I have managed to start many Mexican waves of people moving back and forth in meetings. If I know someone is walking a little ways behind me and I turn a corner with nobody else around, I like to run 10 to 20 steps to widen the gap and then laugh to myself thinking that the person behind me will be confused. I doubt anyone ever notices, but I get a kick out of it every time. Carefully step over a non-existing obstacle. The movie theater in my town is usually mostly empty. There's been a couple of times when I've come in to get seated and there's literally only one other person in my auditorium. There's an evil part of me that wants to just go sit right next to them. Not illegal, but it should be. I do this every so often, because it's kind of a game to me to see how long I can keep it up till the person catches on. I repeat the last word the person says in question form. Example, they, me, and Jenny are headed to Jim's Pizza Hut. Jim's Pizza Hut? Yeah, you know the one on F Street. F Street? Over there near the harbor with the big carousel. Carousel? Yeah, you know the one you went with me and Jane. Jane? My girlfriend. Girlfriend? Okay, what the fuck is wrong with you? Once they call you out and have caught on the game ends. I've carried on a conversation over an hour once doing this. It's really awesome when the person you are doing it to has gone through this a few times with you. My daughter has gotten me a few times herself, and she'll laugh on and off for the day at my expense. Her husband has called me an ass for teaching this to her a few times too. My friend was logged into his Twitter on my tablet, so I kept changing his profile picture to a banana. He thought someone hacked him and tweeted about it. I replied to the tweet using his profile. It got so bad he was arguing with himself on Twitter. Whenever I visit my extended family across the country, I bring a bag full of random remotes that I don't use anymore. Just random remotes that go to old DVRs, or anything really. Just hide them around their house. They only recently caught on. This one is harmless, but occasionally can drive someone mad. My mom has a bunch of framed family photos hanging on a wall. One day I was visiting, I took them all down and scanned them with a little hand scanner. I photoshopped small changes on them, removed some people from some photos, added a couple of celebrities in the background, etc., print them out and replace them a few days later. I can't forget her face when she realized it was me, and she was not losing it. When you're talking to someone, just keep handing them random items. They'll just keep taking them without realizing it. Keep correcting them on the pronunciation of your name, even when they are saying it correctly every time. My neighbor got an expensive new camera for his front door. Randomly, for the last several months, I have covered myself in a black cloak, crawled up into camera view, and left a random harmless object. A carrot, spool of thread, 3 ink pens with the caps mixed up, dumb meaningless things. On camera, a dark shape appears and disappears, leaving a random object behind. It is driving his silly ass crazy. My grandpa does this thing where he stops in the busy street and starts staring into the sky as if he's seen something amazing. It doesn't take long for other people to stop and stare too. Once he reaches critical mass, he quietly slips away chuckling to himself. When I was a corrections officer, we had a guy who worked with us who was kind of a dick to everyone, and he was computer illiterate. We took a screenshot of his desktop and moved all of his icons off of it so it looked legit, but nothing worked. It took him an hour before he finally called IT, and they figured it out pretty quickly. He wouldn't talk to any of us for about a week.